This chapter was good. I did expect this kind of, sort of, so I won't be saying that word that I use way too often in the beginning of these chapter reviews. Chapter 63, titled Peaceful Promenade, will be out for the general populace on October 12th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if it's not that date, or you don't use coins for FastPass, you are a little too early, but thank you for clicking on the video. But this will be your only spoiler warning. Come back whenever to chapter 63. Also, thank you for those who subscribed and decided to join us last video. We are 3 subscribers shy of 300 total, so if you haven't and you want to, now is a great time to support. It is free. As always, skip around to whatever section you want to explore, as there are timestamps for you guys down below. A Camellia breakdown video that I've been working on for a bit will probably be out either at the end of this week, so Thursday or Friday, or sometime at the end of next week. So please look out for it. Now, with the introduction out of the way, let's begin. So for those who are usually confused about my titles and my descriptions, I'll explain this one because it doesn't really make any sense in the context of the story. Generally, I take the last word of the existing title and change its part of speech to usually a verb, maybe a gerund, or an adjective, and add a new word at the end that alliterates to recontextualize the chapter in my own words. This time, as you may know, pomegranate is just a fruit with a lot of seeds. Before anyone tries to overanalyze this, let me give you some backstory. I play COD or Call of Duty Warzone, which is the Battle Royale version on the PlayStation, and my squad usually lands on this place called Promenade West. Sometimes East, but the tall buildings usually pigeonhole and section off the squad. So after landing in that location hundreds of times, Promenade has transformed into pomegranate. And Plight kind of sounded cool, and well, William thinking that he broke the stopwatch and Kim's face on top of whatever William saw the night before was definitely a difficult, unfortunate, politeful situation. And also, like, the descriptions make no sense because if someone who is non-FastPass either clicks on the video and reads the description, it shouldn't spoil them in any way. So I usually just throw whatever I feel like writing for the descriptions. Let me know if you guys want my explanations for my modified titles every review, and I'll put out a skippable section title, probably a recontextualized title or something, to make it obvious. Mainly asking this because people have sometimes mistaken my titles for the real chapter titles, so this is kind of my way of covering my bases, to be honest. Alright, to the actual chapter. I love this chapter for 2 main reasons. 1, William, our boy, got a thumbnail finally. I know some of you have been campaigning for this for so long, and I've only joined the cause last week, but it's somewhat somber that this chapter, where William is most not like himself, is the chapter that he gets a thumbnail. And 2, we get more of Kim's thought process and her way of looking at the world, and what kind of things instigates her jovial, sometimes obnoxious attitude and actions. So it seems like whatever William experienced yesterday / end of last chapter was not part of his usual routine because of how much it has derailed his normal life, as it has affected him mentally and physically both at home and at work. I want to assume that this was something, or I had assumed that it was something that happened often, but if it did, William would have some sort of coping routine or coping mechanism built in, because like Kim and Lauren have said before, William doesn't make mistakes and puts up these barriers so that William can act normal even when things aren't going well. Whatever that person said, and I don't know if I still believe that it's his mother saying someone else's name, because I don't really have experience with interacting someone who has dementia, which is my running theory. So I don't know how this is supposed to go down, if you get what I'm trying to say. Could be someone else, maybe a Phantom Scythe superior, maybe his father, just chilling, since I know there's a theory going around about that. We may get more next chapter, but I could easily see this cutting away to Lauren yeeting Kyrian off of St. Lawrence Bridge, so who knows what will actually happen. Even Layla noticed how off William was, since she had a question mark when talking about the schedule. It looks like we know that whatever was at the end of the last chapter is the reason that William does not live at his dad's mansion. I had to double back, but the entrance or the atrium of this mansion looks different from what we saw last chapter, especially the way that the door was designed. So I don't think we will actually get more of William's story next chapter, as he'll most likely just toss it aside. Probably we'll get half of Kim maybe opening up about DL, or she spends the entire chapter avoiding it, and then the other half will cut to Loon Kim was amazing here. I did do a little bit of analysis on her. If you want to check out some more from it, you can find it in the top right. I think some of those points still hold true here. Kim recognizes something is off when William doesn't do his razzle dazzle, so her first reaction is to be over the top, to try to get William to scold her like they usually do, to realign William back to his normal self. Kim de-stresses after getting yelled at by Herman by practicing her aim at the shooting range, but that's also where the repetitive motion and the sounds of firing a gun at a non-moving target allows her to reflect and think about the day's events, which are filled with William and how off and how not William he was today. It's interesting that Lauren's name was actually crossed off Soleil's list, but under what basis? I do believe that Kim wanted to get Lauren crossed off so that Kim could figure out Lauren's involvement before March and Herman does. And I do think that Kim was a little too surprised that William was still here so late, because to me it seems logical since the day before he left early, so today he should stay longer to make up for what he missed yesterday, right? For me that kind of flowed pretty well. Also, this got me thinking about William's reason for taking that short day. I don't think it was for whoever he met at the end of last chapter. So I guess this is another mark against his mother being that person who called out, since his mother is probably at the hospital getting some kind of treatment, right? Because she is sick. So he went to visit her at the hospital. That's probably why he took the early day. Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know. William confused about why Kim was holding on to him. Sorry, William, that's mainly for the shippers. Sylvism is letting them eat here because, they look good in these shots, in these panels. They look great. I at first thought Kim actually had pajamas on when she changed, until I realized she was still at the precinct. So that's when I actually noticed the tan overcoat. Kim's shenanigans of joking about William and William falling is much more metaphorical, obviously, as William's walls, those supports that he has created as his stability, are falling apart, and Kim is reaching out to let him know that there's more support if he looks past his immediate surroundings. I think I'll do a Will analysis when this chapter becomes public in about a month. Kim's knocking William down was to show just how fragile he is at his current state, but it's all shrouded in jokes like usual, just like Kim's quote-unquote big reveal that she's Loon. William doesn't believe it, but then again, if Lauren did the same exact thing, William would not believe it as well, which is what Kim was trying to go for. She tried to subversively get her thoughts across in 53, a whole 10 chapters ago, so now she's going for a more direct approach to see what he would do if a coworker was actually Loon. And we get to the heart of William in his response. He does what people expect him to do. I wonder what he wanted to do or wants to do, and if he'll actually break that character, which I do think he will, because he was probably in conflict with whatever his father's desires are. We learned subtly last chapter and in the Q&A that William's father was the last chief of police, so rigidity and order and justice has been ingrained into William's 3 generations of police officers, or chiefs even. I think that this is great foreshadowing for William to do the exact opposite of what his response is here, by succumbing to his own desires and doing what he wants, not what is dictated by others. And that point is grounded in the fact that Kim said, "You've never restrained yourself with me." I got chills when I read that. That was a really beautiful line. And William's realization of this fact was gorgeous, and I think that he'll definitely take it to heart, even if there's potentially an argument over the stopwatch next chapter. Now, I do think Kim will actually tell William about DL, because one, I kind of want to know. And this will probably come after her usual banter, because she knows just how out of shape he is right now. But yeah, we'll see. That's all for the video. Thank you so much for listening. Up to this point, as always, make sure to heart the chapter when you finish reading and comment to be a part of the community. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this sort of stuff. My social media can be found by searching Inspirational on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Shout out to my designer. You can find his work on Instagram at JadenV_photography. See you all next time.